Oh, we might be live. Maybe. Oh, let's see if anybody can hear anything I'm saying. If anybody's even watching this, God knows. We shall find out in a moment, I hope. Although, hopefully, this video that I'm looking at in front of me might be live. Hey! It appears to at least be showing what I'm intending it to show, so that is a good start. Hello and welcome to anybody who's watching this live. Might not be many of you, it seems. And if you're watching this later, then I hope you get some insight into what I'm doing to build some Twin Suns decks. So the idea that I'm doing here is I want to make a set of at least 8 Twin Sun decks out of commons and uncommons only, so that they can be accessible and purchasable by as wide a range of people as possible. And then I'm going to take them around with me to events where people who don't make second day, or I don't make second day, or whatever else, I want to play some Twin Suns but haven't brought Twin Suns deck with them, can just pick from this set of decks and have a fun game and not worry about them being too unbalanced, because they're built with all commons and uncommons. And I'll be happy to play with whatever's left out of the set of decks, so people know that there's like not one overpowered deck that I'm worried about them picking or playing or not picking or playing. So I've written a set of decks with combos that are either flavorful or potentially useful mechanically. And we're going to start off with a hero deck today. See how this goes. So we're going to start with Daimyo Boba, accompanied by his bounty hunter friend, bonded bodyguard, whatever you want to call her, Fennec Shand, together. I'm not entirely sure what base to pick to go with this. Generally, I have come to the belief that if you're going to go rare base, then high hit point bases are probably less effective than low hit point bases. But let's just give ourselves a bigger range of aspects as possible when putting this together. So that means going either blue or red. And I think red is probably going to be a fun one to go with this one. So what red base is going to be fun to do with this lot? I suppose the most interesting red base to pick to go with these two leaders is going to be Deathwatch Hideout, because why wouldn't it be? So yeah, there we go. Right, let's remind myself what the syntax is to search for common or uncommon only rarity cards, not including leaders, because leaders are just really, really easy to get hold of at the very, very least. So there we go. Yeah, cool. Nice and easy. Rarity C or U. And that'll filter the card list I'm looking at down straight away to only commons and uncommons. I'm using SwooDB for building the deck here for any who aren't familiar with it. And I'm also going to be using a set of guidelines popularized by Garbage Rollers and the people that they got this information from as well. This is part of their new player lessons series that they did about a year ago, back when the game was first coming out. And they come with a set of recommendations for how many cards of each rarity you want, or not rarity, of each like role you want in the set. And they say like 11 or 12 minimum 1 to 2 cost units, 3 to 12 removals, bombs, space units, all this sort of stuff. So if you want to simplify it down even more, you go 12 1 or 2 cost units as a turn 1 play, 12 events or upgrades, so not units essentially, 12 space units. And for rounding up from a 50 card deck to an 80 card deck, that makes it 19.2 or something like that. So I rounded up to 20. So I'm going to aim for 20 turn 1 plays, 20 space units in total, and 20 non-unit cards, and then round out the rest of the deck with another 20 ground units, I guess. Is that what? No, 40 ground units, 20 space, 20 non-units, and of those ground and space units, 20 of those are going to be turn 1 plays in an ideal world. Well, not an ideal world, I'm going to make them that way, one way or the other. So yeah, let's start with that to be looking at, what we want to round out our units with. And filter the cost so that the cost is either cost 1 or 2. So let's just take that, paste it into the syntax filter here for 3DB deck list. Now this is showing organized by cost and the relevant colors that this deck will allow, ground and space units that are common or uncommon, and not token would probably be useful, I suppose, in this case. Is not token. I don't know why tokens are even an option to put in this deck, let's be honest. That's a bit of a strange thing that I've not really seen before here. That's very weird. Okay. And it's also not excluding them either. That's very strange. All right, well, we can ignore those. Obviously, 0 cost things. Is this even working? Is it even filtering accurately? Doesn't seem to be, does it? That's unhelpful. If I remove the syntax, does that start filtering correctly? It appears to, doesn't it? So does the syntax override the filters down there? It would appear to. All right, so we need to... I thought it was in addition to, not... No, maybe I just need to put those filters in place first and then add the other filters in. Okay, that's good. That appears to be working filter-wise, which is nice. Now I just need to put the rarity filters in, and hopefully that'll work. That does not work. That does not work either. That, however, does work, although that returns the whole weird thing we had with everything that is not. Oh, can I even do this filter? Is that even going to work? That's concerning. How do I make that work? Maybe I should have done a little bit of research on this before coming on stream and messing around with the filters. So I can do this at least. Maybe that'll work. Rarity does not equal rare. Rarity does not equal L. Rarity does not equal S. Cool, there we go. So we only have common and uncommon, and that's now appears to be working as I need it to, which is great. Okay, so Boba Fett benefits things that has keywords. Fennec Shand allows you for a cost of 1 plays anything and give it ambush, and when she flips, she allows the player unit cost 4 or less from your hand, paying its cost to give it ambush at no extra unit cost when she's flipped, and she flips on 5. Boba herself flips on 6, so there's no massive synergies there. Realistically, I want things that have a lot of keywords, and Fennec gives low-cost stuff ambush, so I want things that don't have ambush but do have some keywords. So let's look for things that have keywords that are not ambush. And see what that gives us to work with. So it gives us a pool of a bunch of cards. Smuggling stuff is always useful. Is there any smuggling stuff in here to be going on with? Doesn't look like it. Double aspect is always useful in terms of power, budget, and stats. Padme's pretty not great. Leet is 2/2 shielded, so that's always worth including. Ketsu is dubious use. Heroic Renegade, 2/3 grit, not massively great, but not bad. Green Squadron's always a solid card. Gamorrean is not double aspect. Freetown backup is definitely of use and is smuggleable as well. So that's got some use to it, because you'll be looking at building up a board and being able to give another friendly unit +2/+2 is certainly useful. Echo with the coordinate might be able to get that echo activate, that coordinate activated. Soldier is a solid 1-drop card. Clone Deserter is a solid 1-cost card. Bounty is as it is, really. Cartel Turncoat 2/3 for 1 is not bad. A little bit of a threatening turn 1 play, but not a bad one to be going on with. So let's throw it in the pool. See what else we've got to work with that is not a double aspect card. Unlicensed Headhunter is potential. Ryloth Militia has potential. Rebel Pathfinder has definitely got potential. Privateer Sick is probably not what we're looking for here. Privateer Crew. Smuggle has potential use either mid or late game, playing it for 6 as a 5/5, but still not bad. You can resource that if you need to. Pirated Starfighter is not a great card to be starting off the game with. Part-time Insurgent is conditional whether it has a raid or keyword. Outer Rim, 2/3 for 2. Sure, why not? That's not the worst thing in the world. Ketsu, let's bung in. Jeddah, let's bung in. Housecast, let's bung in. Heroic Renegade, let's put in for the moment. Gamorrean is conditional keywords, so let's leave him out. Fugitive Wookiee, 3/3 for 2 with a bounty to exhaust the unit. Now that's interesting because it's the bounty is exhaust a unit. So when someone in Twin Suns kills this, they can choose to exhaust a unit anywhere on the board from any one. So that's a real fun card to put in a Twin Suns deck. I like the idea of that. Dead-ups, not massively useful really. You're not going to be overwhelming much with the 2/3. And granted, you could buff it up or increase it, but either way, still not something you want to be starting with. Crafty Smuggler's great. 2/2 shielded, just like Leet. Coruscant Guard is keyword is, well, you could ambush somebody else's. You're not going to have a coordinate live on turn 1 play, really, are you? So it's not critical to this deck. Collections, Starhopper, potential smuggle, so that's not bad at all. Oh, excuse me. Right, Clone Heavy Gunner. There has potential. Being 3/1 Sentinel is always going to be funny. Reckless Gunslinger when playing, D1 damage to each base. Oh, 1 damage to every base. Yeah, that's what we're talking. That's a Twin Suns mechanic right there. Let's include Restless Gunslinger without any hesitation whatsoever. Obedient Vanguard, raid 1. You may give a trooper unit. So, what? 2/1 for 1. Yeah, okay, fine. Cool. Oh, more because of Boba, of course. So, yeah, nice. Jawa, sure, why not? Let's put a jar in. We're going to count this down to 20 cards after I put all of these in. So we've got that going on. Independent Smuggler. You're what, 2/1? An opportunity to be a pilot. Sure, why not? Clone Dive Trooper isn't amazing, really. Cantina Braggart, 0-3 or 2-3 for 1. Attacking. Yeah, let's put that in. And 336 Star Wart. We can ignore that, really, I think, at this point. So we've got 26 guards. Is our turn 1 plays. We have. We want to get rid of 6 of those. We got 6 space units. None of these are bad, really. So I think we'll try and keep all of those space. So a quarter of our deck is meant to be space, so it makes sense that a quarter of our turn 1 plays can be space units. So let's try and lose some ground units. I think some 1-cost stuff is useful. His ability to give a trooper unit +2/+2. That's interesting as well, because it says you may give a trooper unit, not a friendly trooper unit. So if that gets killed and there's another trooper unit on the board from another player somewhere else, you could give somebody else's trooper unit +2/+2 and stir the pot a little bit more. So that's a good one. I like that. General Scavenger is fairly pointless. Then again, Saboteurs are useful in Twin Suns, so maybe we'll leave that in after all. Independent Smuggler. Clone Desert is good for the restore, although having restore this early in the game is not necessarily that good. Let's drop that one. Because if you restore early on in the game, you just make yourself a bigger target to get hit more before the game goes on much further. Excuse me a second, I'm going to mute myself while I have a sneeze. Oh, hey George, you alright? I hope you can hear me. I hope this is working. Because if it's not working, then I've been talking and doing stuff while nobody can hear me for a while. So that's massively unhelpful. Hope you had a good day. Geek Retreat. What's up? What did you take? What did you wind up playing? Oh, did you take the Thrawn deck you showed earlier? That would make sense as to why you showed it off. Cantina Brackets, solid play. Not too sure about the Independent Smuggler, really. Let's just drop it for the time being. Leave all the 1 costs. So 2 costs. 3/1 Sentinel's not much of a wall, but it took Thrawn and got destroyed by Boba Yellow twice. Which, as in new Boba, set 4 Boba. Was it the unedited Spotlight deck, or was it tweaked at all in any way, shape, or form? Yeah. Maybe that has got more legs than we thought. Excellent. Clone Heavy Gunner becomes a 3/3, or when you control 3 or more units, it's not massively great. You've got to rely on the build up there. Rolos is good. Pathfinder is good. Privateer solid. Elite solid. Ketsu. When it deals combat damage to a base, you may defeat an upgrade that costs 2 or less, and that can be anywhere else on the board. Devastator, Planetary Bombardment version. Ugh. Yeah. Triple Dark Raid as well. Triple Dark Raid, Devastator, and then Planetary Bombard. Oh, I suppose the Devastator's not there to Planetary Bombard later, so you want to actually play it, but still TDR in that. It's very tasty. Let's keep Ketsu. Ketsu's good. That can defeat upgrades anywhere across the board in the Twin Suns game. Jeddah, if you control a unit, deal 2 damage to a ground unit or a base. That's interesting as well. If you can keep it alive or maybe play it later when you've got your leader out, because that'll allow you to target anything on the board. Housecast, just another Saboteur. Grit. I want to get rid of this one because Grit, when you've only got 3 hit points, doesn't really strike me as massively big deal. You're either going to be dead or not dead. What do I need? I'll need to drop another 2 more ground units. Fugitive Wookiee, 3/3 bounty, exhaust unit. Let's keep that. Freetown has got smuggle. That's got use. Echo's okay. Krusty's good. All right, so we're now getting into the slightly harder choices. Maybe we get rid of the coordinate because it's not the most likely thing in the world to be able to easily activate this. All right, let's just drop the coordinate for Echo. So I need to drop 1 more ground unit. What are we going to drop? Let's drop Don't really want to drop any of them, to be honest. They're all solid. They've all absolutely got uses. Yeah. Also, fancy Val Malevolence combos are properly ruined by Waylay. Yeah, they are. You're not wrong. The key to beating Thrawn is always going to be just kill all the things he plays quickly so that he doesn't have anything on the board to be able to start building the combo with. I saw that on a couple of online games. If you've got nothing on the board that's got a when defeated effect, you can't start playing Chimera and all sorts of other cheese. And if you've just exploited a whole bunch of stuff, then waylaying it is really going to hurt, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Maybe I should look at dropping one of these spaceships. No, keep spaceships. Right. 3-3, 2-3 saboteur. Smuggle 2-2. Got uses. Ketsu's good. Jedda's. Not a lot of hit points for a 2-1. He's going to be dead, maybe, unless you play him later. Yeah, let's get rid of the Jeddah Agitator. All right, cool. If you want to come up with a fancy name for a Twin Suns deck of Daimyo, Boba, Fennec, Shand, Red, then I'd very much appreciate that, George. I know you're always king of the puns. Better than I am when it comes to this stuff. I've got to Google silly puns from Star Wars. Right. So now we're looking at. Let's just cut that filter because it's a useful set of syntax and I might want to use it later. Right, so next we want to look at non-unit cards, of which I want 20 in an ideal world. Why is that only showing? Oh, because it's got the keywords thing still. Don't. Get rid of that. Reactivate that. Alright, there we go. All sorted by cost. What is generally useful in these colours? There's a load of them, isn't there? Don't really want to go beyond. I don't expect many Twin Suns games to go beyond the 7 or 8 resource. 7 resource turn. 8 resource turn is rare, but not unheard of. So let's take a look and see what is useful in here. All right. Well, maybe just what do I know is great from generally salvage. Not so much. No. Attack no. Confiscate's all right. Daring Raid is generally a useful card, especially to just finish something off. Random anywhere for a Twin Suns game. Ooh, Red's got all the lovely kill everything cards as well. So let's have a look for some of those. They're always great fun, especially in a Twin Suns game. So you've got not breaking in. Clear the field could return. Choose a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less. Return it and each enemy non-leader unit with the same name as it to the owner's hand. That could be fun in a Twin Suns environment if somebody's playing a lot of the same thing. Because that'll just affect every enemy unit. All right, that could be fun. Not worried about Clone Cohort. Wonder if hand destruction is worth much use or look really in Twin Suns. Where are those affect everything cards? Where's Bombing Run? How much does Bombing Run cost? There we go. Bombing Run costs 5. Let's bug that in. Each unit. Ability. Each unit. So always reporting exhausts, creates tokens, outmaneuvers, great for each unit in an arena across the entire board. Impropriety among thieves. Choose a ready non-leader unit controlled by each player. If you do, Each player takes control of the chosen unit controls players their right to start the regroup phase. Each player takes control that they own. That was so you just that's going to be fun for Twin Suns. Why not? You're not going to play anything else. God, let's do that. Put it in the deck. Final Showdown. No, not having that. Unity of Purpose, Endless Legions. Not especially great. What other interesting things we got in here? Ability all. Piercing all. Smoke and Cinders. Each player discards all but 2 cards from their hand. Let's burn everything down. Smoke and Cinders is perfect. Twin Suns card. We like that. And also, because we've got green in our colour set, let's put another favourite Twin Suns card of mine in here, which is either like a 4 or 5 cost, called the Clone Wars. Where is that? I can just, search for it in the name. There we go. For those of you who aren't aware of the Clone Wars, that's what it is and does. I would love to have a turn where it becomes worthwhile on like resources 5 or 6 upwards, and that's going to give you a massive numerical advantage and going to create a whole load of chaos. So every opponent gets a whole load of battle droid tokens as well. So that's a fun card to play. We are green, we are yellow, we are red. So and we are heroic, which means there are going to be certain key cards that we want. We're going to want Waylay. We are going to want Open Fire. Let's put some Timely in there as well. Oop, that's not spelled correctly. Timely Reinforcements. Yeah, it's a solid card for Twin Suns. Create some X-Wings and they've all got Sentinel for the phase. Timely Intervention's a smuggleable card to give something ambush. Although you have got the ability to give cheap stuff ambush with Fennec anyway. So do we really want Timely? It's only really boosting cheap stuff. Let's leave Timely out for the time being. Timely Intervention at least. Anyway. We're on 10 events. Let's have a look at some upgrades, because upgrades are always fun. Just like Traitorous, which is... I'm going to steal that card. I don't see any particularly Dark Saber. Oh, Mando's Rifle. We could have Boba Fett's armor, don't we? Yeah. For Boba Fett in the game. You can't have that and not play Boba Fett's armor. Vampire Squad, Shadowed. Unrefusable offer. Bounties are amusing, but you can't always rely on being the one who claims them in a Twin Suns game. So we're going to skip Unrefusable offer. No. Again, same reason. Attached unit can't be attacked this phase unless it has Sentinel. So +2 attack for 2 and the unit can't be attacked. That's interesting. Especially since you could potentially play it on somebody else's unit. Chaos of War out of aspect for a laugh. Where's Chaos of War? That rings a bell. Sort by alphabetical. Or is it the Chaos of War? There we go. The Chaos of War. Deal damage to each player's base equal to the number of cards in that player's hand. Yep, like that. Maybe we want to look for something or everything we've got with the word each. Nope, that's misspelt some syntax. Excuse me. Oh, that's returned a whole bunch of hits that I hadn't really anticipated, has it? But well, let's still level it. Now, Ewing's a very solid card for Twin Suns, especially for this sort of purpose. An end game. Twin Laser, Turbo Laser. We're not banking on having a huge amount of space necessarily. Rule with respect. A friendly unit. Nah, not really massively useful for this. Pyrrhic Assault. Friendly unit. No, not great. Metal. No. Strap. If an opponent controls more space units than you, already each space unit control. I mean, you've got potential of using it in Twin Suns only. Somebody might have more space than you do, but is it really worth playing for 3? Hotshot. No. Oh, here we go. Each player defeats a resource they control and discards 2 cards from hand. This deal 4 damage to each. Yeah, that looks fun. Let's put that in a Twin Suns game. Why not? Burn it all down. Forced surrender. Each opponent whose base you've damaged this phase discards 2 cards from their hand. So obvious synergies. Home one you can take as can play for cheap. The new home one, I mean. Yeah, that makes sense. Forced surrender. Are you going to be damaging that many people's bases, though? I mean, it's obviously got synergies with Sabine Leader. Not so much with this one, though. Not so sure about that one. Focus Fire, no. Final Showdown, no. Fight Fire with Fire, no. Evacuate has potential to be amusing as a board clear all but leaders. If things are going really, really badly for you, someone's built out a bit of an overpowering situation. Yeah, let's put some Evacuate in. Why not? No Endless Legions. Death Star Plans is funny, but not for a great one. Cripple Authority in case somebody's ramped. I mean, somebody's bound to ramp, aren't they? That's the point. What are we on now? We're on 14 events, 3 upgrades. We haven't got any ramp in here. Then again, ramp's hardly reliable. And if you pull it off, it makes you a massive target over and above everybody else. Yeah, let's not go with that. Not fond of that one. Caught the Crossfire. Choose 2 enemy units in the same arena. This is made for Twin Suns, isn't it? Because 2 enemy units from 3 enemy players. Yeah, let's have some of that. No. Bloodsport to just kill a whole, well, do a whole load of damage to ground units. Bamboozle is great. All wings. No. Natron no. What are we at now? We're at 17 events and 3 upgrades. They're not exactly competitively tweaked, but hey, what the hell? They'll be fun to play. Definitely in a mess around, have a laugh, and affect as many people as you possibly can, causing chaos sort of a fashion. Let's go with that. If you think of any other events or upgrades that you think would be particularly good in the Twin Suns game or this deck in particular, do let me know to think about them. That'd be great. For now, though, I'm going to go and ramp up my space units to a total of 20. We've already got 5. So that's good. Home one recommended. If the opponent controls 3 or more space units, it costs 3 less to play. There is almost certainly going to be someone who controls 3 or more space units by the time you get to the 6th resource turn. So yeah, that's a solid play. Good shout. We don't want stuff with ambush at a cheap cost, but we would be interested in stuff with ambush at cost 5 and higher. Because Fennec can't give them free ambush, basically. What else is good in here? Pay a 1 cost an ambush in. I mean, ambushing in Twin Suns is a very aggressive move, so maybe it isn't the best thing to be doing, but we're obviously chosen to be going with Boba and Fennec, so we've kind of got to lean into that mechanic that we can give units that cost 4 or less ambush. Ambushing swarming vulture droids could be funny. Oh no, and the powers and the effects could just scale, I suppose. Oh no, that could be fun. Ambushing Millennium Falcon's a bit redundant, really, but you don't need to pay for it to ambush, and you could just play it. So, oh, the rarity restrictions have gone because I've removed them. Ah, that's aggravating. Let's just quickly check and see if I've put any cards in here that are not common or uncommon, because I removed those restrictions like an idiot. And home one's a legendary. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Breaks the rules. What else do we have in here? Clone Wars is a rare, but it's a cheap rare, so sod it. Let's keep it in. Uncommon starter. That's available as a common as well, must be. Chaos of War is a rare. Am I going to just break my rules for commons and uncommons? Depending on how cheap they are. Chaos of War's cheap. Let's leave it in. Proprietary Among Thieves, cheap. Let's leave it in. That is, I don't think that's massively cheap. That is. Caught the Crossfire is. Evacuate's definitely a cheap legendary. Nobody sees that in play. Ewing's a valuable rare, unfortunately. Ugh, this is annoying. I'm going to go back and do this. Guerrilla Insurgency is a cheap rare. Nobody plays that. All right, let's get rid of that one. Boba Fett's armor is kind of a reason to play Boba Fett, isn't it? You can't play Boba Fett without Boba Fett's armor. And Traitorous is rare. Sorry, I'm going to have to look for another event and or upgrade, which is fine. Okay. Let's put that rarity filter back in a second. Just going to mute while I sneeze again. There we go. Right, where was that filter? Here we go. Okay. Let's pick another upgrade or event to replace the one that I got rid of. And we've got so much choice here. So much choice. Force Friend is only uncommon. Interesting. Bravado. Ready a unit. If you've defeated an enemy unit this phase, you can ready a unit. There's no restrictions on what you ready. So assuming you kill something, you can ready anyone's unit. That lends itself to all sorts of mischief, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Let's put Bravado in for the ability to potentially ready anybody else's unit in the game who either left you alone or did something later. Right, let's go back to space units then. But this time we're looking at common and uncommons only, which is fine. So, endgame bombs, Republic Defense Carrier, you can pay less for each unit controlled by the opponent who controls most units. So you've got 3 opponents. Someone's going to be controlling a whole bunch of units, I'm sure, somewhere. So let's put that in on the basis you'll be able to get potentially a 3 or 4 resource discount for playing that one. Is that really that? So that's a 5/7 Sentinel that you get a free X-Wing out of. That's a 6/7. So it's only one more attack, but it is keyworded. No, why would I do that when I can? You need a 5 resource discount to play it before the Tantive. That's pretty useless. No, let's get rid of that. Let's put the Tantive in instead. Resupply carrier to ramp you when you're that close to the end game in a Twin Suns game is not ideal. Hammerhead. Falcon ambushing at 6/5 using the Boba effect. Or you can smuggle it and it'll always have the keyword is definitely not a bad thing to have. I should probably put the keyword filter back in. There we go. Oh, that's a really manageable list. Each opponent discards a card when this ship dies. Yep, let's have some of that. That's a good one. Pelter coordinate, no. Exploit, not really interesting. Etta, restore 2. Having a restore spaceship you play on 5 and attacks has potential. Although having the restore won't make you a target. But yeah, you're playing it to win, so let's have that in there as well. Krellian Freighters, not amazing. Because of a no aspect card, we can come back to that if we need more ships. The on attack trigger may or may not kick off, so let's just give that one a miss for the time being. Subjugating Starfighter, 3/3 ambush or 4/3 ambush with the Boba effect. You can pay extra to ambush it in with Fennec or do it cheap after she's deployed. Bright Hope is always a solid choice. Let's put some Bright Hope in. Don't know about that one. Let's come back to that one. The Kirax is you exhaust another friendly unit. It can be ground, can be anywhere, and it's got overwhelm, and it could have the Boba key, the Boba benefit of +1 attack on it. So that's got some punch. Tuck is a solid punching card. Twin Pod. Cheap Restore 2 unit in Twin Suns could be a lot worse. It's not really underworld focused deck, so let's give that one a skip. Sanctioner Shuttle. Why was this being looked at recently? Coordinate when played. This unit captures an enemy non-lead unit. Costs 3 or less. Oh, it's to get rid of ships and pilots. Right, of course. Can't see Coordinate still being that reliable. Outlaw Corona, no, that just makes your opponent stronger. Consortium Viper. Restore 2 is tasty for 3. Blue Lead is a really good card. Let's keep that one, especially due to its versatility of ground or space arena. Privateer 6, not amazing. Okay, so what space units we're on? We're on 14 space units now. So we could do another 6 space units. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are any of these useful? No. No. Maybe. No. Do we count on being able to build up some coordinate across ground and space? People are a little bit less likely to just attack willy-nilly and kill units rather than just go towards bases. So maybe coordinates. When played, you may deal 2 damage to a friendly unit, 2 damage to an enemy unit, same arena. Not brilliant. Sanctions is just going to make you a target when you pick on someone. Smugglers. I suppose you could smuggle it. No, let's just give that one a miss. Subjugating has potential. It's not the worst thing in the world. Pelson, no. Where are we at now? We're at 16. Okay. I really do want every card I play to have a keyword in order to make the most of the Boba Fett ability. So now I think I'm just looking at putting anything in to make the most of it, except that one. That one's awful. We don't really want to be sacrificing things, so let's put this Corellian freighter in, and let's start looking for those coordinate ones, which were the ones I was umming and ahhing about. So one, oh no, that's the wrong button. Reckless Torrent, Sanctioners, Smugglers is not the worst in the world. Valiant. I mean, 3-4 Saboteur. People sentinel up a lot in space. And the on-attack trigger might happen, so that's not the worst in the world. Geonosis, how many spaceships we got now? 21. Oh, we got one over. Okay, so what do we not want? What did I put in here just recently that I was unsure about? I'm not a big fan of consortium Star Viper in this because A, it's conditional on having the initiative, so you might not always have the restore. Actually, no, in this deck, that's an absolute reason not to run it. So let's go with that. Cool. Right, so we got 20 turn 1 plays, we got 20 space units, we've got 20 non-units, we've got 55 cards total, so that's another 25 ground units to put in the deck, which have the criteria of having a keyword and not being rare or legendary or special, which is fine. Let's see what our cost curve is like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 threes, fours. We're light on the late game. 6s, 7s, and 8s. I mean, these 8s aren't exactly great, are they? Ambush. Well, restore 3 late game. You're hardly likely to attack with it the turn it comes out. Yeah, if you get that, you're going to get targeted heavily in the late turn. Then again, that does make it maybe mean like a distraction card effects. If the game is going to go late, restore 3 is going to be very tasty if they let you get an attack off with it. Yeah, let's bang them in. Why not? I don't like things with exploit too much. Just trying to convince you to get rid of your ball presence. It's the deck not made up for it. It's not the greatest. Fennec is very solid late game play. Aura. Your chances of getting to attack with her aren't great. No immediate impact on the board when played, just like the ATTE. So let's skip that one for the moment. Rogue Squadron, Skirmisher, Ambush, and a bit of Recursion, which is always useful. And that can ambush in at 5 attack using the Boba effect. So let's put that in. Aussie Sobek. Again, exploit on the card reduces its power budget, and I don't really want to be sacrificing in this deck. Ambush and Overwhelm, and using the Boba buff means you could be ambushing for a 6/5 with Overwhelm. It's tasty, so we like that. Low altitude gunship. Your when played isn't going to kick off too much because we're not choosing to synergize on Republic here. So let's give that one a miss for the moment. Guerrilla attack pod. If a base is likely to have 50 more damage on it when you get to this at this point, so that could actually be quite useful. Let's put the Guerrilla attack pod in, and of course with grit it'll benefit from the Boba buff. Edifice's ambush passive benefit is nice, but there's not a lot of the game left when you come to be able to be playing her. Then again, you'll be ambushing in for 6 attack on 6, and you'll be benefiting from the -3, so she's reasonably likely to survive. Yeah, let's put emphasis in. That's a good deck for her, I think. Covetous, I don't really see massively useful in this. Armored Saber Tank. Sentinels are always useful in Twin Suns. Syndicate Lackeys. I mean, yeah, great, absolutely. It's another 6 attack on 6. 6 ambush on 6. Steadfast. There's a nice threat for later turns in this, and since you're going to be having Fennec deploying on 5 and Boba deploying on 6, that could be a threat for a while, so I like that. Snow Speeder. Is there going to be an enemy vehicle ground unit? Unlikely, there's not loads of them. And you're a 5 cost who's ambushing in 3/6, making a 4/6 with a Boba buff. It's not great, so we'll just give that one a miss for the moment. Resourceful Pursuers. 5/6 Saboteur. Yeah, cool, let's have some of that. Plo Koon has ambush built in and the coordinate. And he's only an uncommon. Whether or not you have coordinate live at that point is a bit hit and miss, but he's worth bunging in the deck. Why not? Occupier Siege Tank. Nothing amazing there. Clone Commander Cody. Buffs all the rest of your units. Sure, let's go for it. Bug him in. We can always cut them out afterwards. Clan Challengers, Raid 3, 3/6, so it becomes 6/6 on the attack, and while upgraded, it gains overwhelm. So we're not likely to be upgrading things. Let's be fair here. So we'll be losing part of the major point of this card, which basically makes it a 6/6 on the attack, or 7/6 with the Boba buff. There's some heavy stats, though, on the attack. Yeah, let's bung him in. We can always take him out afterwards if we need to cut something. Chewie's great. Let's bung him in, especially in this deck. B2 are definitely great in this deck. Anakin, not amazing, really, in here. I don't think. Wookiees, no Wookiee synergy. WK Pirate Gang. 3/3 ambush for 4, so that could be a 4/3 ambush for 4, or smuggling for 5 is not the worst in the world. Let's have some of that. The Wampa. 4/5 overwhelm, or 5/5 with the Boba buff for 4. Yeah, again, that's not bad. Regional Sympathizers, some healing in the Twin Suns is not bad. Principled Outlaw could exhaust anybody's cards on attack that has uses. I mean, Modded Cohort is great. That's a 5/4 ambush using the Boba buff. Hunting Nexu, we're playing a fair chunk of red units here. Yeah, it's about half the deck. That would make it a 6/4 while attacking, potentially a 7/4 using the Boba buff. So let's put the Nexu in. Why not? Let's put the Sharpshooter in. Why not? Potential ambushing for 5. Heavy, deal 1 damage to each enemy ground unit across the entire board. Yeah, let's have some of that because that's great for Twin Suns. Gamo Guards. Conditional keyword is not useful in this deck. Neither is that. Neither is that. Restore to Echo is 4/4 is great. Maybe 5/4 with a Boba buff. You're unlikely to get the Give to Experience things though. Still, the Restore to 4/4 in Twin Suns isn't the worst in the world. Chain Code, you're not likely to be fighting things with bounties unless you're built for it. We're not built for it. This bounty's interesting because somebody could kill that, claim the bounty, and then just attack something else on the board anywhere. It doesn't have to be yours. So I'd say the penalty for this is much reduced in Twin Suns to you if you play it over any other cards. Let's put that in. Volunteer Soldier, we're not building on troop synergies, so we'll ignore that for the time. This is amazing. This is great, Twin Suns. Let's have some of that. We're on 82 cards already, so we're going to have to cut some back after this. Rogue Operative is solid. Let's have you. Republic Commando is coordinate based. You are upgrade based. 3/2 ambush. So that could be a 4/2 ambush for 3 using the Boba buff. which is not likely to survive whatever it goes into, really, is it? Yeah, let's skip that one for the moment. Night Owl, smuggle in for 5. Why would you want to smuggle that in for 5? I suppose you can resource it if you don't need it, which is always useful. 4-3, that could be that could be a 5-3 for 3. Which is not bad. Leia, we're not playing with pilot synergy, so that's a bad idea. Jesse, an opponent creates 2 battle droid tokens. That could literally be any opponent. So I think Jesse has got some strength because he could be a 5. That could be a 6-4 on the attack with the Boba buff. So Jesse's got a place in here. Homestead Militia, conditional. Yeah, let's give that one a skip. Fighters for Freedom is definitely a solid card. Yeah, let's put that in. Echo Base Defender, solid card. Cassian is absolutely one of the best cards in the game. Bold Recon, 4-4 Saboteur. Ambushing in 4-4 for 4 Saboteur. Oh yeah, that's got punch. Advanced Recon Commando. So you ambush that in 5-3 Overwhelm. Oh, that's got punch as well with Fennec and everything else. So, all right, cool. I think we've got the outlines of a deck here. We've got broken the rules on a couple of cards here for the commons and uncommons threshold that I was planning to be going with because I messed up, but I'm not going to break it because I'm not going to break it. I'm not going to roll it back because Boba Fett's armor needs to be in the deck with Boba Fett. It has to be. So I'm happy with including that. Cheers, George. Have a good one, mate. Thanks for tuning in. I need to drop 9 cards, and that all comes out of the ground units. So let's take a look at the card spread that we've got. Right, we don't really need any of these other pages at the moment, but I don't need to get rid of them either. So I guess we make a change and then save it. That works. Let's get rid of this. We don't need an 8-cost card that does nothing the turn that comes out except present a threat to someone. That's an easy one to drop. Right. So, how do I go back to? All right. Well, let's do it this way, shall we? And then look at the metrics for the deck. No metrics. Why are we not seeing the metrics? Are these metrics not in the current version of SWDB? Oh, that's a shame. That would have been helpful to see. Okay. Fine. Let's go back to the editing screen. So we don't want to drop any 1s and 2s because we're happy with the amount of 1s and 2s we got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 3s, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's a fair amount of 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4s, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 4s. Possibly a little heavy on 4s. Let's drop a couple of 4s. We don't want to drop space. We're happy with 20 space. So WK is built-in ambush is all right. 4s are also flexible with 5s in this because we can pay 1 extra through Fennec in order to be able to ambush in a 4 and below, to be fair. So that's worth bearing in mind. We can't do that for anything higher than a 4. Let's get rid of Echo. I think here the power budget on there is not great. Heavy's fun. Sharpshooter. Yeah. Hunting Nexu. If you can get that as a 7-4 ambushing unit for 5 resources is tasty, so that's worth keeping. That's good. You don't do very much except restore, really. So you don't have a lot of power budget because you've only got the one aspect. So let's drop you. Wampa is. I kind of want to keep the Wampa for the sake of it being funny. Heavy sharpshooter. So we can ambush stuff in that costs 3 and have the same sort of effect as a hidden sharpshooter. So let's just drop the sharpshooter. That leaves us with 86 cards. We don't have an awful lot of late game at all, do we? We have the Tantive and we have the Fennec. But then again, a lot of that is based on the restrictions I've put in place here with regards to aspects and keywords. Not aspects, rarity and keywords. So let's put the rarity back in. Let's put these filters back on. And let's see what we've got by way of late game. That match our rarity requirements. Whoop, 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 whoop. Next page. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Public defense, reinforcement. Factoid, Entity, Heavy Persuader, Aura Sing, 97th Legion. War Juggernaut. Oh, the War Juggernaut could get very tasty indeed, couldn't it? In Twin Suns, could just damage everything and beef it up, and then it becomes very scary and a horrifying thing to contemplate dealing with, despite the fact it doesn't have a keyword. So, should we put the Juggernaut in? Yes, let's put the Juggernaut in because it's funny. Republic Attack Pod. Where's that even from? Twilight. Shows how much attention I paid to that one, I guess. And other late game stuff we could put in. Tridroid is not great. That's not great. Aura Sing doesn't do anything. 97th Legion doesn't do anything. Reinforcement Walker at least has a when played effect. Do we want to put in this 8-drop just for the sake? Yeah, it's a solid card. Let's put that in. So that takes us back up to 88 cards. So I need to drop another 8. Got quite a few 6s. And they're all not bad. They're very offensive. This is a very offensive deck. I mean, part of the whole nature of it is that the leaders buff the units in this deck with ambush and with +1 attack. So in its nature, it is a very offensive deck. So based on that, let's get rid of the Armored Saber tank because it's defensive. What else we got that we can get rid of? Sneaky solid, Steadfast is solid, Resourceful is solid, although it doesn't do anything the turn it comes down necessarily because we can't give that ambush. Having said that, having Saboteur, no, let's get rid of you. Occupier, let's get rid of you. Clone Commander Cody, you're an army buff, you're not an individual powerhouse in and of yourself, so let's drop you. Clan Challengers, I think you might just be too powerful to drop. Or are you? No, you can go. What are we down to now? 83. Let's keep the 4s. Let's keep the 5s. Save the deck. See where we're at. We are at 83 cards. 3 units, 3 ground units still to drop, and they can't be 1s or 2s because that would break our. We've got a lot of 3s, and we can play 2s on 3 resources buffed up with Fennec for some ambush. So let's have a look and see if there's any 3s I don't want. That's fun. That's fun. That's very solid, isn't it? So you pay 4 to give it ambush as well. That's a 5/4 saboteur ambusher. Yeah, that's solid. Night Owl doesn't really do very much except be a bit of a stat stick. So let's get rid of the Night Owl. Jesse's fun. Fighters for Freedom. Isn't really all that synergized with this deck, is it? It doesn't do much fun stuff. Echo Base, okay. Oh yeah, 81. 1 more card to drop. 3 or a 4 or maybe a 5. Let's get rid of the hunting next. The conditional red isn't amazing, so let's get rid of that. Right, that leaves us with a mostly commons and uncommons only Twin Suns deck using Daimyo Boba and Fennec Shand. So this should be reasonably affordable for anybody who wants to pick it up for a Twin Suns game. Let's have a look and see how that looks as a deck image, because that's always a good thing to look at. Assuming it'll load up. Uses high res images for these days, so they always take a little while to load up. Oh, there we go. Cool. Excellent. I will save this. I will publish it. I will post a link to this deck in the video description or the comments or something along those lines. If you want to take a look at it and give it a rip apart, tell me what you think. Suggest any cards that should have been included that I missed out. Once again, the requirements I'm going with are commons and uncommons only, unless there's a good reason not to. I'm ignoring that with leaders because leaders are really easy to get hold of. And I'm ignoring it in some cases because a Boba deck without Boba Fett's armor would be a sad deck indeed. That is the first of the 8 decks that I'm planning to build. I've been live for an hour and 10 minutes already, so I think I'll wrap this one up there, save it, publish it, and thanks very much for either watching or tuning in or maybe finding some inspiration doing your own stuff. Obviously, there's YouTube things like liking and subscribing and all that jazz, but thanks very much. Cheers.